Hi, my friends. This is Jay, and this is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. And I'm coming to you with, I don't want to say Christmas excitement because I really don't do a lot of that anymore. I'm just coming to you with end of year, that we made it to the end of the year excitement. And even though some of you have gone through a lot, you can still, find, hopefully there's some hope that the next year things will be better. How are you? I hope you're well. I hope you are anticipating the excitement of fellowshipping and the time you're going to spend with your families and loved ones, or other things that you have all planned for this year. If you're going to take a trip, if you're going to just stay at home, either way, I hope that it's a time of reflecting. I hope it's a time of love, and I hope it's a time of just coming together. I'm not so much into the Christmas decoration anymore, so I don't do a lot of that, which I'm happy because I used to be the one that our house would be lit up here, and then I had poinsettias going up the steps and lights everywhere. Now I just enjoy, like I say, I enjoy the sounds and the smells of Christmas. I didn't go out for Black Friday sales, but I will enjoy shopping. I enjoy this time of year, just getting out with people, and everybody's so happy and friendly, and it's an encouragement that maybe that things are not as bad as they sometimes feel. So, as you can see, I've been busy. I had this shawl a few years back. I designed it a few years back. And for some reason last year I got sidetracked. Who knows why? And I didn't bring it to you last year. But now I'm glad I didn't, because this year I decided to do two versions of it. Well, first of all, this is the Madeira lace stitch that I'm going to share with you. Hence, Jay's Knit, a Madeira lace Christmas shawl. And this is the lightweight version. This is a little silky yarn. It's very lightweight, sparkly. Look at the sparkles in there. Pretty gold, so very festive, and just feels great on. But it's a really, like I say, let me see if I can take it off too. I wasn't planning to do this, but I'll do it. And it's very light and drapes really nice. Hope it doesn't get caught into my necklace. And then the second version, because, I know that, everybody's in different climates at Christmas time, that follow us on the YouTube. So I decided to use Lion Brand's Heartland yarn, and I made a sweater weight version of this same shawl. And I really love it. It just drapes really pretty, and the weight is just, I like a sweater weight, and it just drapes really great. So you can choose, or you can, like me, do both. It's not a beginner, but I think any seasoned or medium experienced knitter will be able to follow me step by step. Of course, that's what I do, is take you step by step in the tutorial, and I don't think you're going to see how simple this is. So, of course, I'll go over all the yarn and the needles and all the information. But I just wanted to come on, first of all, to say thank you. Thank you for a wonderful year. Thank you for all the words of encouragement. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for your friendship. If you need a friend, learn how to be a friend. And you certainly have been a friend to me, and I hope I've been a friend to you as well. And so, like I said, I don't have anything really to kind of show or enhancements. I'm enjoying my book. So, but I'm already geared up for next year. Oh, we're going to start out honest. I have some good things coming for next year. Keeping it simple and straight. That's where I go. I try to keep it simple. Try to make it easy. Try to make it just straight, step by step, not holding back anything. I just want to share it, and I just want you to enjoy it. So, with that, like I said, I want to wish everyone a very, very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much. And I hope to, of course, see you in the new year. So, I'll see you in just a minute. So, we'll get ready and start working on our tutorial. Jay's Knit, a Madeira lace Christmas shawl, just for my friends. Okay, so now I'm over here on my counter, and I want to go ahead and get you started in this tutorial. And I'm going to start by walking you or showing you the yarns that I use for shawl number 1. This is the one that I designed a few years back, and I just never got around to sharing it. And now I'm glad I did, because now I have the second shawl. Because your taste change and you want to try it in different yarns also. Here's the shawl. This is, like I say, Jay's Knit, a Madeira lace Christmas shawl. This is the lace, I believe I'm pronouncing it right, I hope I am. And of course I'll show you the pattern that I use. And it's the Madeira lace. And as you can see, it's quite bold. And let's see if I can pull it up a little more so that you can see there's a beautiful fluted edge right here at the bottom. I can't get the whole thing in the shot, but I'm trying to get as much as I can. But you can see it is quite bold in the stitch pattern. And then here's that pretty fluted edge along the bottom. So hence, we will start working this shawl right here at the very bottom, and then work up as we increase outward. We will increase outward on each side of the shawl, left and right, as we work up. Now, I repeated this lace pattern 1, 2, 3, 4. I repeated it 5 times. Now, this shawl is worked with a lighter weight yarn. And the yarn that I use for this shawl, I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way and tell you so that we can go on and get through this, is Yarn Bee Fetching. Now, some of you may have a lot of this. Some of this, they discontinued it in some manner. I don't know. You just have to check your local Hobby Lobby if you have one. If not, a number 3 weight as I'm going to show you in some of the other. But this is Yarn Bee Fetching. As you can see, it's a really pretty gold color. I don't even know if they have a name. And it doesn't really tell you it's a number 3, but on the band it says a US number 6. They suggest a US number 6 needle for this yarn. And you can see that it is a very small yarn. Let's see, can I get a little bit? See, it is very small. But due to that, I just don't like to cramp my fingers, I work this yarn with a US number 7. So if you don't have a number 6, if you have a number 6, you can work it with a number 6. I worked my shawl in a US, just using plain clover, because I have a ton of them. This is 7, and it's a 36-inch in length. You will need a long circular needle, whether it's a 6 or 7, for this number 3 weight yarn. Okay, now there's a yarn that I use. It has glitter, it has everything, it has the pretty softness. It was the right yarn for this shawl, and it comes in 2 or 3 colors, so you do have a little choice. All right, the next yarn I might suggest while I'm talking about yarn, so we can go ahead and get that out of the way. Like I said, we're looking for something lightweight. And again, you can look in your stash. This is a stash buster. I would have at least 2 on hand. If you have 3, that will probably even be better. But at least 2. I believe 2 skeins should do it. This is Deborah Norville's Everyday Baby. Remember, it is a number 3. And they do call for a number 6 also. So any yarns that may call for a number 6 needle will work great for this shawl. I still use a number 7 only because I just don't, I don't like to go down real small. Does that make sense? Can you look in your stash and see if you have a couple of skeins of a number 3 weight, and if you need the 6 long circular needles. All right, and one last one, just since I'm on a roll here, and I was trying to, make sure I tried to give you a choice so you can look in your stash. This is Yarn Bee again, Soft Secret. This color is a very pretty color. It's called Garnet, and they normally use a number 7 for this yarn, but they call it a number 4. So it's not quite as heavy as Karen Simply Soft. But if you have some in your stash, you got a couple of skeins, you go, oh, I didn't know what I was going to do with it. And, well, this will work, knit into a beautiful shawl. Does that make sense? To use what you have. All right, now let's go back to the shawl. All right, so we're going to start at the bottom. On this particular shawl, and, of course, I'm going to walk you through all the formula, but I did 3 repeats. 3 repeats. There are 25 stitches in each repeat. And I'll go over the pattern. But as you can see, and then that's the back. We start there in the back. And eventually, as we increase to come over the shoulders, the front of the shawl, you will have just a little hint of the pattern to peek over your shoulders, which makes this so pretty. As you saw, I had it on, and you'll get to decide on which neckline you want. If you notice, this is the roll neckline. So when I finished the scarf to the width that I wanted it, then I just started in regular stockinette, where you just knit on the right side, purl on the wrong side, and you do that for as many inches as you like, and then of course it rolls back on itself. So that's the first neckline and then I'll show you when we get to the next one. But isn't that pretty? And of course, the first thing I thought about, oh my gosh, I need one of my pins. Look, I need one of my shawl pins, don't I? Let's see if I can. Let's see, I got my little plastic container here with my little bottom. So I find me a pretty little bottom, stick it in there. And I could use that as just a little treat for myself. Isn't that pretty? So, a beautiful shawl pin. And like I said, the pattern will come over your shoulders just enough, right at the top of the shoulders, to look real pretty, and then the rest of the pattern will flow down the front. So, that's shawl number 1, or the yarn number 1 that we use. Let me switch, and then I'll show you number 2, and then we'll get into the pattern, and it's so easy. I will get into our formula and the stitch. Okay, so now I have the camera backed out so that I could get some of this on camera. This is, like I said, since I decided to share this shawl, on this year, I decided, well, everybody's in different climates and different, the weather's different. So I thought, well, I'm going to try it in a sweater weight, or something a little heavier than the one we just shared. And here's the one that I came up with. This is the same stitch, very bold. It's the Madeira lace stitch with the pretty little wavy scalloped edge here. You can see it. You can see some of it at least. I'm trying to get as much on here as possible. And of course, everything is the same. We just simply start at the bottom and work our way up. But this time, I decided, if you are a small to kind of, large size, but not, overly large, then 3 repeats like I showed you on the first one would work great. But I really wanted this to wrap around, and for large, really large, and extra large or XX large, I repeated the pattern 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I did the same amount, same number of repeats up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So on this shawl, we have 4 repeats, and then I work the pattern for 5 repeats up. Does that make sense? And it gives me a fuller, warmer wraparound shawl than the first one. Alright, so we start at the bottom and work up. Everything is exactly the same until we get to the neck. And at the neck, I simply, when I finish repeating the pattern, for the 5th time, you can, for the roll neck, you simply just go, knit on the front, purl on the back. This one, I simply did garter stitch, stayed in the garter, and just knit every row. And let me see, I can just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I probably did it for at least 1.5 inches. Let's just say that, because everybody have some, decide on how many rows you might want to do. You just knit every row to give yourself this pretty garter edge, and then, of course, it would go right into the front, and then right to the edge, at the very front edge. Now, let me turn this one over so that maybe we can see, maybe you can get a glimpse of how pretty this one is. I got a few little things still to, now I'll check my camera before. Okay, here's the front. Let's see how much I can get on here. You see the pattern will come over the shoulders just enough so that you can see that it has a really pretty pattern detail. Now let me check my camera, see if that's anywhere that you can make heads or tails of what I'm trying to. Yeah, oh great. Okay. Showing up nice and bright and pretty. See, see, can I get these? Of course, you'd want the 2 front sides to kind of line up as they come over, and then the neck, and then you see this beautiful garter stitch edging that lays flat. See, it's not the roll neck like the first one. And then it comes on down, and this one is really long, and like I say, it has the weight of a very warm and cozy sweater. How does that look? Is that too far out? No sense in bringing it in. Let's see. I don't have a stick. Let's see. You know, I want to put a stick pin on here. Let's see. Put me a little stick pin there. And I'm going to put the top up. Jay, why'd you put the little bottom up? Get one of my stick pin bottoms. Stick it in here. And look at that. I don't know if that's on camera or not. There we go. Look at that. So, now, the yarns for this yarn that I use. Alright, you can use it, look in your stash for any of this. You may need 3 just to make sure you have enough. Because this is, like I said, represents the extra large, extra extra, or XX large. 3X. So you want to make sure you have enough before you start. Alright, so guess what? This is Lion Brand's Heartland. I have a lot of this in all the colors because I truly love this yarn. This color is Royale. It's kind of a burgundy with blue specks in it. So you'll know it right away. But like I said, there's so many other colors. You can choose whatever you like. Heartland, this is Royale. This is a number 4 weight. We want a sweater weight. Now, they normally call for a number 9 for their gauge, for their, for their suggested knitting needle. Well, number 9 made my pattern, the stitch is so bold and so large already, it made it too loose when I started knitting, and it looked like, instead of pretty yarn overs, it just looked like big holes. So I took out, after I'd done just a few rows, I took that out and I went down to a size US number 8. So for this yarn and all my other number 4 yarns, it's the needle that I normally use. I normally will knit them in a US number 8, and this is a 36 in length. You're going to need a long needle, and this is a US number 8. So when I backed it out and changed to the 8, it is just, I love it in a number 8. And now all my yarn overs look like lace, like they should, and not just big gaping holes with the number 9, because number 9 made it too loose. Does that make sense? So now this is easy. You just find at least 3 skeins. I'd have at least 3, like I said, because this is the larger size. You don't want to have to run out and try to match up something. US number 8 needles. Now you can look in your stash and find anything that's a number 4. Here is some of that Isaac Mizrahi I still have. You have quite a bit of that. Now this is kind of thin. This might, you know what? Now that I'm looking at this one could work as the number 3. This one I could use a number 7 on. I just now pulled it up. I was just trying to grab up yarn, but I think I would put this one with the number 7 needle. It's very small. All right, but let's see some others. Just your regular number 4s. Here's some of that Deborah Norville Everyday, just her regular everyday yarn. Now I know it's a number 4 and it knits up beautiful, and a number 8 works beautiful on it too. And I could just, of course, Karen Simply Solve. There's just so many I could pull out, but I didn't want to waste time, because you know what your number 4s, you can reach in and pick out something for this shawl, depending on, look at your color. But this, like I said, once I pulled this out, I saw how thin this is compared to that. I believe this will work better with the number 3. I just saw that. Man, I know that will look gorgeous in that. So, those are the yarns. Those are showed you the yarns that I use. There's nothing to do now but show you the pattern and the stitch and make our formula, and let's get to clicking our needles. Because I'm excited about this, and I think you are going to be too. It's not a beginner, but if you know your basic knitting, it's a fun knit, and it's a really pretty knit, and I think you're going to like it. Okay, a quick look at our pattern. Now, I don't know if I did a book review on this book all by itself or if I did it with other books. But we have used this book before. It is it's like a knit stitch dictionary, and it's by Debbie Tomsky. And it's a really nice book. I have used it a lot, and I really enjoy working out of it. But the Madeira lace that we're going to use can be found in lots of other books. So if you don't have this one, and then plus I'm going to take you step by step. But this is a really nice book. She lays it out really nice. It's easy to follow. Okay, make sure I'm not glaring. Okay, there it is. Okay, it's in her book. It's on page 54, and it's her number 69, Madeira lace. She says, striking and dramatic are the best descriptions for this stitch pattern. The strong points make it ideal for an edging or trim, and it will look fantastic in any smooth yarn. From light fingering to bulky. Now, we're not using bulky, we're using a medium, but and we definitely are using the lighter weight. So our number 3 and number 4. Now, her pattern, she has a multiple of 25 stitches for one repeat. Now, don't get scared, but there are 20 rows in this pattern. And I'm sure whatever book you have yours, I'm sure it's pretty much the same. But don't fear, the wrong side rows will be able to purl on. So really, you're only working half that pattern. But there are 20 rows for us to pay attention to and make sure that we are on the right row. But it's a very nice pattern, and it really flows nicely. All right, so now that's the pattern. This is a book that I'm taking this pattern from. But like I say, it's from public domain. You may have it in lots of other books. All right, before we do that, I keep forgetting to bring out real quick, because I realize it, like I say, like my friend Val up in the very northeast, they're already getting cold weather. Even probably she may have snow by now. So I bought some woolies, whatever little wool I use. I'm not a wool fan. I don't use a lot of wool. It's just something the feel of it, even the smell of it sometimes. But I have bought woolies before, and I have used it and knit on it, and it's very nice yarn. And I keep forgetting that to bring it out to show you. All right, for our medium weight, our number 4, they call for a number 8 needle. So you can easily, if your yarn, you need some wool in the yarn, your weather's colder, or whatever yarn you want. But this is one that you can easily use. This is Woolies by Lions brand, and I just always forget to bring out. I bought mine when our Hancock fabric. They used to have a lot of woolies, and I bought, I don't know, a couple of big bags full. It was a price, people. It was a price. Okay, but I will have to use this, so I promise I'm going to use this yarn up. Now, for our formula. It's not much of a formula. It's not really long or large formula. It's just very simple and to the point. And that point is, all right, the first thing we want to do, like I said, her shawl, her stitch is, there's 25 stitches in her every repeat. Now, I'm suggesting if you are a small to maybe, large, but not, overly large, just small to, medium, a little on the large size, you might try 3 repeats of this pattern. And 3 repeats will simply mean there's a cast on number of 75 stitches. Just that easy. We're really not going to have a full having to figure out formula on this. It's just to the point. So, small, medium, and not so large. 3 repeats, 75 stitches. I represent the extra large on this one because I really wanted a larger shawl, and I really wanted it to wrap really pretty, and it's sweater weight. So extra large to maybe 3X. I did 4 repeats. 4 repeats of this Madeira lace pattern. So I cast on 100 stitches. 4 times 25 is 100. We don't have to worry about borders on this particular shawl because we're going to be increasing as we go. Now, row 1 and row 2 of the pattern, you simply knit. So I would just go ahead and knit 2 rows. That's row 1 and row 2. So as soon as I cast on, knit 2 rows. Kind of messed up my 2. Does that make sense? Is that easy enough to do? Everyone's going to start in the same place. You just decide which of these shawls and which yarns you want to use. All right, we've covered that. All right, let me get my pattern ready. The information sheet will go up on the screen. Take your time, slow it down, put it on pause, kind of read through it. You know, that's the happiness of this YouTube. Just, you know, if you're in a class, you feel terrible about trying to hold the class up and and trying to get your questions answered, and maybe you don't understand. Well, you just pause or put it on pause, people. Just put it on pause, see what you need to do, and then we'll all start working together. The pattern, once you knit the 2 rows, row 1 and row 2, I will see you back at row 3, which is the right side of this shawl. All right, back in just a minute. Okay, you've seen the information sheet, and I just wanted to just point out just a couple of things, and then we'll get started. As you can see, here's a real shawl, and here's the bottom where we're getting ready to start. I'm going to do 1 full repeat, and then you have picked out whether you're going to do 3 or 4. It's just up to you. And every time we come to rows, there will be increases made on rows number 3, number 7, 11, 15, and row 19. And we're going to do a simple increase by just casting on 3 stitches on this right side and then adding 3 stitches to the left side. And what that does, it gives this little fluted edge. I didn't want lace all around me and all of that. I just wanted, but I didn't, I wanted something just kind of soft. So it gives this little fluted edge if you kind of look real close. It's not ruffly, it's not lacy, there's just a little flute. And every time we get to row 20, that we have done 1 repeat, and we start the knitting sequence where we'll knit row 20, and then we're back at row 1 and 2 again, you're going to have these lines, see these lines of garter stitch. So you'll know that's a whole repeat. Every time we do a repeat, we will have these garter stitch lines on both sides. Let's see, I think that's it. I don't see anything else, so I want to get started. I want to start out. Now, I'm going to be using larger needles and larger yarn, just so that you can see. You will, of course, need some stitch markers and some kind of contrasting thread or yarn that we can mark the wrong side. It will just help you. And I'm going to see where I need to be. Okay, we'll try it there and see how that works. All right, I've knit 2 rows, which really was row 1 and row 2 of this pattern. Now I'm on the right side. I'll mark it. Don't have quite enough yet to mark. But I am on the right side, and it is row 3. Now, make sure I can, yep, that's good. Okay, row 3 reads, knit 3, yarn over, knit 8. Slip 1, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over. Knit 8, yarn over, knit 3. And repeat that whole sequence to the end of the row. So we'll just start off. Oh, we have no borders or anything. But now listen, we are starting on row 3 right here. We have done row 1 and 2 when we knit the 2 rows. Now on this first row 3 is what I was trying to get to. We have to do our first increase. So what I'm going to do is to take, and I'm just going to knit these increases on. I'm going to put my needle in and knit and then twist that stitch, and that's 1 stitch I've added. Knit a 2nd stitch, and then I'm going to knit on a 3rd stitch. So on, we're going to call this the right side of this shawl. I have added 3 stitches. Now, to get back to the pattern, I need to knit 1. All these added on stitches will always be in stockinette. Knit on the front, purl on the back. 2 and 3. Now I can place my first marker. If you're doing more than one, you're going to be placing your markers too. So I'm going to put this yellow one to represent where I've done the increase right there. Now we will continue across. It says knit 3. This is the actual pattern now. 1, 2, and 3. All right. Yarn over, knit 8. 1, 2, that's 3, 7, and 8. Okay, so now I want to slip 1. Just slip 1 stitch, knit 2 stitches together, reach back and pass the slip stitch over, yarn, knit 8. Don't get ahead of yourself, Jay. Now I have to knit 8 stitches. 1, 2, 6, 7, and 8. Now I will do a yarn over, and I have 3 stitches left, and I'm going to knit these 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, but remember this is row 3 and we added 3 stitches on this side, so I need to add 3 stitches on this side. And you may, if you are a seasoned knitter, you may add them on, you might add them on different or have other ways. I simply, when I get to this side, the left side, I go back into the last stitch, just like that, and I do a knit into the front and simply knit into the back. And that's 1 stitch I've added. Then I go in again to the last stitch. Knit into the front, knit into the back. That's 2 stitches. I need 3. Put my needle in, knit to the front and into the back. I've added 3 stitches. So, now on my way back, I'll put my marker. Now the fun part and the great part about this nice pattern is every wrong side row we will simply purl. So there's nothing unusual. We'll just turn the work and I'll purl this first row just to get us started. I need to put my marker. So I'm going to, now you can slip or knit the first and last stitch. I just automatically knit it. You see, I just knit it right because that's just automatic to me. But you can slip or knit whatever the first or last stitch on either end. So now I've knit my first stitch. Now I'm going to purl. And the first 3 stitches are the stitches that I added on, so I need a marker right here. Now I continue to purl across. All the lace stitches, the pattern stitches, we purl across. Just like this. I will, when I get to the end of the row, I will double check my camera. Make sure I don't have to do this over. Make sure I'm in the frame. And I just purl across. I'm just doing this first row. We have increased on row 3, right out the gate. Continue to purl. Now I'm going to knit my last stitch. You might slip, knit through the back loop, whatever way you like to make your little edge. I'm going to knit, and voila. That is row 3, and we have added already, see? Now, like I said, I'm using these large needles and this large yarn only so that you can really see the pattern really stand out once I start working it. But definitely, this is not the right yarn. You understand that. Okay? Now, we have done row 4, and all wrong side rows, of course, is purl. I'm going to check, and then I'll be right back, and we will continue to work. I will see you back at row 5, because remember, you have a long row. You either have 3 repeats, or you have 4 repeats. Now, I didn't say this because I forgot. I'm just doing 1 repeat. When you cast on, or you can count it out, you will need some markers. I would separate my 25 stitches. I'd have, if you're doing 3, I'd have 25 stitches and a marker. 25 stitches and a marker. So that if anything goes wrong, you have those 25. The stitch count will stay the same, but you'll be able to go back and fix anything and not have to figure out where you are. So I'm sorry that I didn't mention that. But yes, you will add a stitch marker in between your every 25 stitches, whether you had whether you were doing the 3 repeats or 4 repeats, and you'll see that it works out really good. So, and get a nice different color, like I could have used, normally I use red or something to let me know, okay, I'm at the pattern. All right, so now you've got a row to work on, and I'm going to check everything, and I'll see you back in a little bit, and we'll be on row 5, and it is not an increase row. Take care. All right, I'm back. And how are you coming? Pretty easy so far. So now I'm on the front, on the right side, and this is row 5. Row 5 reads, knit 4, yarn over, knit 7, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, knit 7, yarn over, knit 4, and just repeat to the end of the row. Well, that's pretty easy, so I'm just going to simply, of course, I'm going to knit my stitches that I've added, slide the mark, and I think I will switch this and put it red, so I'm so used to a red one. All right, here we go. I'm on my pattern now. It says knit 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I'm going to yarn over. I did a yarn over. Now knit 7, 1, 2, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, now I'm going to slip 1. I'm going to knit 2 stitches together, reach back and pass the slip stitch over. Now I have to knit 7 again. And you're going to see a pattern develop as we continue. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 stitches. Okay, now I'm going to do a yarn over. And I have 4 stitches left, so I knit those 4 stitches. So far, you can sail right along. Don't worry, we've got some excitement coming. And of course I slide, and I'm going to change. Like I said, I'm so used to having my red markers, okay? And then of course I just knit these last 3 stitches. Okay, that was row 5. Now, of course, you'll turn the work, and row 6 you will purl. I will see you back at row 7, and it's an increase row. So, take care. You've got a long row to go, but you'll see this first few rows will just kind of, you'll breeze through them. See you in just a minute on row 7. Okay, so now we are at row 7. Change my marker. I didn't change my marker, and it is an increase row. I hit my camera, so I knocked myself off of my mark. But I think I'll be okay. Okay. First of all, let's go ahead and add our 3 stitches since it's an increase row, and we won't forget. So I'm simply going to knit on 3 more stitches now. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So all of a sudden I went from 3 stitches to 6 stitches. So now I can just knit back to where the pattern starts. And if you get lost, you can always go back and count. It'll be in groups of 3s. So I'm up to my marker, and row 7 reads knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 6, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, knit 6, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, and in with a knit 2. I was running out. I thought, am I on the same row? Alright, so since I've already added my stitches, now I don't have to remember that. Slide my marker. Okay, I start with a knit 2. Now I'm just going to knit 2 together. Just like that. Okay, now I yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 6, 1, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, then I do a slip 1, knit 2 together, reach back and pass the slip stitch over. Alright, now I'm going to knit 6 stitches again. And that's that little, you'll start seeing this little pattern kind of develop. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 stitches on each side of that pass slip stitch over. Now I'm going to yarn over, knit 1. It's like I'm doing the same thing again. Yarn over. Now I'm going to slip, slip, reach back and knit those 2 stitches together. And I have 2 stitches left, and I knit those 2 stitches. Of course, you have another repeat or another repeat, so you slide the marker and you start at the beginning of the row again with knit 2 together, and continue across. But since I'm at the end of my row, I'm going to slide my marker and knit to all the last 3 stitches, and row 7 is an increased row, so now I have to take time, stop, take time. Now I'm going to knit into the front and into the back of the last stitch. That's 1 stitch I've added. Let's go again. Knit into the front and into the back. That's 2 stitches I've added. 1 more. Knit into the front and knit into the back. That's 3. And there you have it. Now it doesn't look so pretty in this yarn, but in your yarn it's going to look really pretty with a really pretty little flute. So of course you'll turn the yarn, you turn the work. I knit my first and last stitch, so I'm going to knit this stitch, and then I'm just simply going to start purling back, and that will take care of, this will be row 8. So as you continue across your row, and then you will work row 8. I will see you back at row 9. And it is not an increase row. But take care. Okay, so now I am up to row 9. And row 9 is not an increase row, so I just went ahead and knit up to my pattern marker. I'm up to start my pattern, so I'm going to knit this last stitch. I'll slide my marker, and row 9 of the pattern reads, knit 6, yarn over, knit 5, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, knit 5, yarn over, knit 6, and repeat to the end of the row. So here we go. So I knit 6, 1, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I do a yarn over and I knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now I'm getting ready to do, and this is what's going to line up the center. This slip, well, slip 1, knit 2 stitches together. Now reach back and pass that slip stitch over, which you don't want to ever forget. And you see how it lines up that nice little point. Okay, so after I do that, I have to knit 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. A yarn over. There should be 6 stitches left. 2, 4, 6. I knit those 6 stitches. Just like that. Of course, you will slide your marker and repeat, starting at the beginning again at knit 6, and continue across. I'm at the end, so I will simply just knit off my row. And there you have row 9 of our Madeira lace pattern with some extra stitches on each end. Now, guess what? Row 10, of course, is the purl side. I will see you back at row 11, which is an increase row. We will increase 3 stitches on each end. All right, see you back in just a minute. All right, I am back, and I am ready to demonstrate row 11. Row 11 is an increase row. So let me just see if I'm on. Yes, I think I am. All right, so of course, we need to go ahead and knit 3 stitches on this side. So let's go 1, 2, and 3. Now I can knit back to my pattern marker, whatever color you have. I have a red one, so I'll know to stop. Stop, look, and listen. So I'll just knit back after I've added my 3 stitches on. Alright, I'm up to my pattern. I slide the marker, and row 11 reads, knit 3, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 4, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, knit 4, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 3. Woo! I thought I was going to have to go get me some water. All right, we'll take it nice and slow. Knit 3. So 1, 2, and 3. All right, now we're going to do a yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, reach back and pass that slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now slip 1. Now you notice where this one will land, because this is the one that's going to be in the center. So slip 1. It's going to line up here. Knit 2 together. Reach back and pass the slip stitch over. All right, you know you're right so far because it lined up. See it? In the center there. Okay. Now, I knit 4 again. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here we go again. Yarn over. Knit 1, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, reach back and pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, and knit the last 3. 1, 2, 3. Knit the last 3 stitches. Woo! We made it! Well, you've got a long row. I'm sorry. Okay. All right, I'm at the end of my row, so I'm going to slip my marker, knit to that last stitch because we are on row 11, and row 11 is an increased row. So I knit to the last stitch, and then I start that little process. I'm going to knit into the front and into the back, and I've added 1 stitch. Into the last stitch again, knit into the front, knit into the back. That's 2, 1 more. Put my needle in, knit the front, go into the back of that stitch, and that is 3 stitches I've added on the left side now. And of course, all I have to do is turn the work and purl back. That will be row 12 when we purl back. And we're on our way. I will see you back at row 13, and it is not an increased row. So, can you see a little bit of your pattern popping out? Okay, take care. I will see you back on row 13. All right, so we're up to row 13. Row 13 is not an increased row, so I just went ahead and knit over to my marker. I slide my marker, and now row 13, you can see some of my pattern popping out now. See my yarn overs? Row 13 reads, knit 8, yarn over, knit 3, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, knit 3, yarn over, knit 8. So this one sounds a nice easy one too. So we're gonna knit 8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to knit 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, slip 1, here's the center again, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over. It lines up. Now I'll knit 3 more stitches. 1, 2, 3, yarn over, and I should have, let's see, 8 stitches left. 2, 4, 6, 8. I knit the last 8 stitches off, and of course you will simply, because you have more repeats, you would go back up to the beginning of the row again and start the repeat over. I'm going to just simply knit off all the stitches, slide my marker, and knit off the row. So as you're working either three repeats for small, medium, large, or if you're working 4 repeats for a larger size, you just continue to work the repeats. All right, now, of course, row 14 is the wrong side, and we will purl, and when I come back, we will be at row 15, and it's an increased row. Now you can see how this yarn is so much thicker, but at least it shows, you can see the stitches and you can see the design, but in your yarn, as it starts, can you see how pretty it starts to look with the little fluted edge? Okay, we will purl row 14. I'll see you back at row 15. Row 15 is an increased row. So I start again. I'm going to add 3 stitches. So I knit 1, 2, and 3 more stitches. And of course, now I just simply knit back to where my pattern starts on row 15. Okay, here comes my marker. Get some more yarn. All right. Row 15, I've added my increase, because it was an increase row, my 3 stitches. Now, row 15 reads, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, knit 2. Now here's a sequence. Yarn over, knit 1, and do it again. Yarn over, knit 1. Now we have another yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, and end this row with a knit 2. That was all on one row. Well, you know, you get a curveball every once in a while. So let's go. I'm up in row 15, knit 2. Now, knit 2 together. That's different. Knit 2 together. Oops, I split it. There we go. Knit 2 together. All right, now watch. Yarn over, knit 1. Okay, now yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, reach back and pass a slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2, 1, 2, watch, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over. That's the center one. If you're writing this out, you can circle that one so you'll know, oh, that's the center one. All right, now knit 2, 1, 2. Now this little sequence is simple. Yarn over, knit 1 stitch. Do it again. Yarn over, knit 1. Now we will continue with another yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over. Okay, now we need a yarn over. There are 4 stitches left. I'm going to take 2 and go slip, slip, and I'm going to knit those two together, just like that. And voila, we have 2 stitches left. I will knit the last 2, 1 and 2. And this is an increased row, so now I have to knit. See, can I get it all in? Knit to the end of this row, and we need to add 3 more stitches. A little bit of yarn. I think I can make it. I think I can. I think I can. Okay, I'm at the last stitch. Now I go back in the way I do it, whatever way you add on. I knit into the front and into the back. That's 1 stitch. Knit into the front and into the back. That's 2. 1 more. Knit into the front and into the back. I've added my 3 stitches on row 15. I hold it out. I see everything is lining up. I can see my yarn overs. They're all in place. I can see my center in the middle. Like I say, you have more repeats, so you can see your center line in each of these little scallops. Okay. Well, of course, we got that done. So row 16 is a purl row. And I'll see you back at row 17. It is not an increased row. We're almost done. So, take care. See you back at row 17. Row 17 is not an increased row. So, I've knit up to my marker. I slide the marker. And row 17 reads, knit 10. Wow, that's new. Yarn over, knit 1, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, knit 1, yarn over, and in with a knit 10. Oh, this one sounds kind of fun, doesn't it? So let's just see how we can just get right on over and just, boy, that's a long stretch. I guess because we're coming to the end of our first repeat. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, now yarn over, knit 1. Alright, now here's the center. Slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over. Knit 1, yarn over, and before I even start, I'm going to just count, make sure I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, so I can just knit those 10 stitches off. Of course, when you get to the end of yours, you will slide the marker and you will start the row over. You will start the repeat again, depending on if you have 3 repeats or 4 repeats. So I just continue to knit off across my row. Just like this. It's not an increased row, so I don't have to worry. I don't have to remember on this side to add any stitches. Just knit all the way across. And there you have row 17. Look how much we've added so far on each side. And did you notice that I didn't have the V? You know, I try to work hard to keep away from just having, you know, just the V. So I stretched this lace across, and then I started all my increases. And look at that. like I said, this is not the correct yarn. This is just my demonstration yarn, so you don't have the pretty flutes. It doesn't look as pretty as the real yarn that you're working on. All right, row 18 is the wrong side. We will simply purl. I will see you back at row 19, and row 19 is an increased row. We're almost to the end of this whole sequence, this sequence of pattern of stitches for this pattern. I will see you back at row 19. Oh my gosh, isn't it looking pretty already? Take care. All right, row 19. Row 19 is the last pattern row, and it is an increased row. And look like we have a little curve ball in it too. But one thing at a time. Let us add, I'm going to add my 3 stitches since this is an increased row. 2 and 1 more. I just knit it on just like that. Put it on. Okay. So now I can knit back to my marker that represents where the pattern starts. These are just stitches I've increased the shawl. So I'm just knitting back. Alright, I'm coming up to my red marker. I'll go ahead and get some yarn before I start, because this is a long row. Alright, row 19. Woo! Last pattern row. Row 19 reads, knit 3. Now here's a sequence. Yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 1. Now repeat that 4 times. Then you will yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, and end with a knit 3. Wow, let's see. Well, we start with a knit 3. That's easy enough. Now, we have a sequence. And now, when I have a long sequence like this, I don't care how hard I try, I always get distracted. Then I do not know why this. So this is what I try to do. I try to say it out loud to myself. You know, okay, 1, I count them off out loud so I can hear my own voice. All right, here we go. I've already knit the first 3. Now, the sequence is yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 1. That was number 1. Okay, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 1. That was number 2. I know it. I don't know. Yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, and knit 1. And that's the center one that lined up. That was number 3. All right, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over. See, I want to get distracted for some reason. Yarn over, knit 1. Whew, that was number 4. So now let's see if we can finish out the row. Next thing is a yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, and I have 3 stitches left, and I knit the last 3. Wow. Oh man. Anything to keep myself focused. All right. This is an increased row 19, so I have to knit to, of course you have more repeats. But by having so many repeats, you have to remind yourself, just like I did out loud, add the 3 stitches on at the end. I got to increase 3 stitches on this row. You don't want to get, far and not have your increases. So again, I go back to my knit into the front and into the back. That's 1. Okay, go into the last stitch again, knit into the front, turn and go into the back. That's 2. 1 more. Front and into the back, and I have added 3 stitches on row 19. And there it is. Let me see if I have my own camera with that. Yeah, okay. Now, let's talk for a minute. So now you're up. Of course, like I say, your row is longer. You have to go all the way to the end. The next row, of course, is the wrong side. But on this wrong side row, we are going to turn the row. This is row 20. I'll move my little marker down. Here's row 20. But on row 20, we are going to knit. We're not going to purl. We're going to knit all the stitches. You're not adding on any stitches. You're just going to knit across the whole row. And I'm just going to take time and go ahead and see how. I hate to turn the camera off and reset it and turn it off. Let's just see. Oh, what can I talk about? Oh, let's see. What have I promised to tell you? And I always forget because we are knitting on the wrong side. That's the main thing. Don't get distracted and go, oh man, that's supposed to be purling. No, you are knitting on the wrong side. Row 20 says to knit. So I'm just going along. Slide my marker. Let's see, I don't have any short story. Let's see, something needs to be something short because we're going to be at the end of this in no time. Oh, I know. Good. Real quick. See that scar? I know y'all have noticed it. And some of you probably said, oh, look, Jace probably got a little birthmark or something. No, that's my quiche scar. See it? That's my quiche scar. Now, while I'm knitting across on this wrong side. Okay, so it was one of my knit groups. We met on Tuesday morning, and I had another that met on Friday. When I was with Judy, her group met on Friday. So we are knitting, and so my Tuesday morning group was coming, and we loved having the knit group come to your house because that meant you get to use the dishes that you don't let your family eat out of. Like I know you're not touching that plate. The ones you won't let your family eat out of, they were just for my knitting group. And so I had everything set. The table was, we go way out. We met about around 10:30, 11 o'clock. It was kind of more like a brunch. So you wanted everything to be really nice and hot and in the oven. So when they pulled up, as soon as you saw the car pull in the driveway, you'd hit the coffee pot. So that coffee smell went all through the house. We were big coffee drinkers. And the quiche was in the oven. But you know how just things happen. You just kind of get behind. One little thing kind of get out of whack, and then you're running a few minutes behind. I could see them pulling in the driveway. So I was trying to, oh my gosh, get the quiche. I was trying to get the coffee going. I was trying to get the creamer out. I had the table all set because I always set my table at night and covered it up because I had all my chargers and my plates and the pretty utensils. Had the pretty cups or mugs because we like mugs with our coffee. We like to drink our coffee out of mugs. And lo and behold, I'm so short. And my oven, I don't know, it's just the right height for me no matter what I do. Anytime I saw him coming and I heard him ring the doorbell, but I had to get the quiche out of the oven, so I reached my arm up and the rack, as I pulled the rack out, psst, got me right there. Got me right, scissored me right there. And of course, when you're older, your skin just you know, it's very thin. It does, you can get burned on steam when your skin is, when you're older and your skin is very thin. And I tell you, so I got the quiche out, put the oven door up, had to run. And I said, I'm coming. You know, I was trying to hold them off. Because I ran and got an ice cube right quick, and I slapped the ice cube on there. Well, of course, it really makes it turn dark, I think. You know, they say put something cold on it, but I think that made it turn dark. You know, if I had some cocoa butter or something, I could have maybe kept it from turning so dark. So we are knitting on the wrong side, not purling. So finally, I couldn't. They stand there just ring, ding, ding, ding. I was like, oh gosh. You know, you want to answer the door all calm and collective. I ran to the door. My arm was burning and on fire, and I was hot and sweaty. But you know, I was starting to sweat them, and I was like, oh my God. I thought to myself, that was not a good start for that day. So that is my quiche scar. So now you know. So I can remember little things I promised to tell you over time, and I have never. And I know people have seen that scar when I put my arm out there, but every time I look at it, it's my knitting group, it's my quiche. Oh, and I think it was what kind of quiche? It was a sausage, egg, something quiche. And then one of our members, Miss Ann, she don't even eat meat. So sometimes we try to, you know, maybe put one side with no meat on it, you know. She would eat some things. She would go ahead and eat some things. But, you know, if you just don't like it, you don't want people to, you know. So there were some things, you know, we tried to make sure. But we always had enough things. One rule is you always had a beautiful salad with all kind of fruits or all kind of nuts and things that go on it, all kind of salad dressings. So, no, she didn't eat meat. But, tomato, sausage, cheese, eggs. I don't know if I had spinach that day in it or not. Okay, I'm coming to the end of row 19. I have been knitting, not purling. So, I got to tell my quiche story finally. So, do you have a quiche story? You know, all my scars are from the oven. That one's from the oven. The rack hit my arm. That, my quiche scar. That was a knit needle. I poked myself. I'm a danger to myself. Okay. Now, look at what we have. At the end of row 1 through 20 is a complete repeat. I have all of this, and then on the last row, row 20, even though it's the wrong side, I knit it all the way across. And that starts that little, that section. That starts this row here. That starts these garter ridges, these ridges. So now, since we finished row 20, we start again. And row 1 and row 2 are knit. So you're going to knit the next 2 rows, and then I'll see you back, and we'll talk a minute at row 3 again. So now I just start back. There's no increasing or anything now, right now. We don't increase again until we get back to row 3. So now we just knit across. Row 20 I've knit, so this would be row 1. I'm starting a pattern all over again. If you look on the information sheet. So row 1 and row 2, just simply knit. And that creates that little garter detail. Garter stitch detail on the front of the shawl. Of course, I'm not going to knit all the way across. I'm just doing a little bit, just... So I'm a danger in the kitchen. I'm a danger to myself in the kitchen. But they did enjoy we had a great time that day, and I can't remember all that we did because my arm was hurting so bad, but I didn't tell, they saw that, they saw me burn, they saw the burn and everything, but, I didn't want to let them know, oh man, it was hurting. I put Neosporin and all that on there, but when you have dark skin, when you have the melanin in your skin, it just turns it dark. I put the eyes, I tried everything I could to keep it from making that ugly dark scar, but like I said, the melanin in your skin just turns it dark. At least it didn't make a rise, you know. Oh, I said I wasn't going to knit across it. I'm just... Okay, well, I had fun telling you about my... Well, I may as well. I'm almost to the other marker. Let me get to the marker. Because we are at the end of this. And then we'll talk. I can walk you through. So this is row 1. I'm going on to the end. I'm going for it. And after you get through this first, it's a lot of fun. Because like I said, it really is an easy knit as long as you pay attention to the rows that you need to increase on. And then on row 20, don't purl. That's the wrong side row. I just finished row 1 of the pattern. I just knit across. That's what row 1 says. Row 2 is on the wrong side, and guess what? You just start knitting again. Row 2 is a knit row, so you would start here and you knit across. And then the next time you turn the work, you are on row 3, and what do you have to do on row 3? You have to increase again. You'd start the increase, you'd add 3 here, work row 3, the pattern all the way across, and then you would have to increase on this side. And voila, you are on your way. Now, I'm going to set my camera, and then I'm going to get the real one out, and then we can talk from this point on. I think we'll do just fine. What do you think? See, now in your yarn, it's knitting up really pretty, isn't it? This is just practice. All right? See you in just a minute. Okay, so I think I can just kind of walk you through the last part of this. Now, for me, I'm short, and so I repeated this pattern. I repeated this 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now listen, if you're taller and you needed to come down longer in the back, then you can continue to go up. You can repeat it 6 times. You may even want to repeat it 7 times. That is up to you. I'm just giving you an idea of what I did on mine. Like I said, but I'm short. So I went up 5 times. Now, something, like I said, this is the first one I did about 2 years ago or so. So, once I design something, then later on you can see where, you should have done this at the end. So now I'm telling you how I would end it now. After you finish how many of these repeats you want, following the pattern completely, then when you get to row 20, the row we just finished, and you knit, then go ahead and knit row 1 and row 2 again, so that you have an end of a garter ridge, which I didn't have here, and I wish I had that one last garter ridge thing. But like I said, when I was designing, sometimes you can't think ahead of maybe how it should look. But so you would do row 20 and then turn and do row 1 and row 2 again. Then you just go into stockinette. Knit on the front, purl on the back. Knit on the front, purl on the back for at least 3 or 4 inches. You want a nice row. However, the more inches you have, the more it's going to roll down and form this pretty neckline in front. So you're talking another maybe 3, maybe 4 inches, or at least 4. So to finish it off, you're going to repeat the number of repeats you need. If you're taller, go ahead and do 6 or 7 repeats. Work row 20, then work row 1 and row 2 again. Just knitting, just like we just finished. Then from there, you go into stockinette. Just continue to knit on the front, purl on the back. Knit on the front, purl on the back for at least another 4 inches or so. About like this, so that when it starts to roll back on itself, you will have a nice roll. So that's how you'd finish that. Does that make sense? I hope I was on camera. Does that make sense? Hope I didn't cover up everything. These are just little things, you find after you created something. You think, next time I do it, I'll do a little more. I'll do this or that. But now, in the nice yarn that you're working in, you should start to see a nice little flute. It's not trying to be lacy. It's not, too ruffly, but it's just a nice, soft, tattered, fluted edge. And then, like I say, the more you let this roll back, then it gives you that nice, pretty roll that you saw me wear this shawl on the camera. Now, let me get the other one. It's way back here. Now, these are the same shawls, but I wanted to try it in a different weight yarn. And the same thing applies here. You decide how many repeats you want to do your shawl. Now, I'm going to see how this one is so large. Let's see, can I come out? Oops, sorry. Don't get sick. Jay's driving the wrong way. Okay, so on this one, I went up 5 again, but like I say, if you want your shawl, if you're tall and you need your shawl to be longer in the back and wider because you're taller, then just add more repeats of this pattern. And every time you add a repeat, you just don't forget to add the increases on the, the 3 increases on each side on the rows that you should add it onto. It automatically enlarges just by doing that. Then when you decide you've gone up far enough, or you have it in the back as long as you want it, then you go to row 20. You start row 20 and you knit on that wrong side, and then you just start knitting every row after that, and you can just knit back and forth, just back and forth, however many rows you like, or really how many inches. So this just depends on how many inches, whether you want 1.5 inches or if you want 2 inches. It just depends on you, how you think you might. I went, like I said, about 1.5 inches. And there's a pretty edge, the garter stitch edge, where once I finished row 20, I just kept knitting. Knit on the front, knit on the back, knit until I had about 1.5 inches of garter. Now, but I did find this to work out better for me. So, on a wrong side row, to bind off, stop on a wrong side row. On a row that you're on the wrong side, you're knitting, but you're on the wrong side, and bind off on that row instead of waiting till you get to the front as we normally do. And for some reason, it just made a nice, much nicer edge. It didn't look like my regular bind off. It looked better for some reason. And I thought, note to myself, I had never thought of that. So, but work as many as you want, and then when you get ready to stop on a wrong side row and bind off from that side instead of binding off from the front as we normally would bind off. And as you can see, this sweater weight, it's really pretty. Let's see if I'm on camera right there. You see the ridges, you see the little fluted edges, not really lacy, not really, but just fluted and just really like a tattered edge. Looks really pretty. And then, since it was a sweater weight, I put the garter at the garter ridge at the top to finish it off because I thought it just looked real nice. Well, what do you think of this so far? I have enjoyed this. Like I said, I designed this one a few Christmases ago, a year or so ago, maybe 2, and I just never got around to sharing it with you. And I thought, by golly, I'm going to take time and do this shawl and share it with my friends. And of course, when you wear it, the lace comes over the shoulder just enough, and then you have this nice pretty front, how it comes down the front just like that. And these little garter ridges gives it, I don't know, nice pretty vertical lines. Well, we come to the end of a project. We've made it through the whole year, and we come to the end of, I don't know, just a wonderful year together. And I don't know how else to say it, but just thank you. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed sharing everything I could with you. I've got so many things, hopefully, to share for next year. And there's nothing else to say, but, I'm wishing you, like I said before, a Merry, Merry Christmas and happy holidays to people all over the world. In a time like this, every little bit helps. Every little bit helps. Stay encouraged, stay hopeful. I hope to see you in the new year. And until we meet again, take care and enjoy your shawl. This is Jay. This is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. We made it through another year. See ya!